Welcome back one last time to our Christian Scriptures course. This is our last session before the end of the semester. I want to conclude our course by thinking about how the New Testament has been used and interpreted throughout church history. I'm taping this last session at Mercer County Park, where I am this weekend with my high school rowers for regional championship. But I also want to make sure to get this last video to you, so there's really no connection between the video background and our topic. After having considered the many Christian writings which were composed during the first 300 years of church history, and after seeing how those 300 years produced the process by which eventually the 27 books of the New Testament were selected, our question today is what place those 27 books had after the canon was set. Christian writing, debating, theologizing, and interpretation didn't stop just because there was a binding canon of Scripture. As a matter of fact, the canon of the New Testament was now being used as the norm from which to argue and debate new matters of faith and belief. However, the Church also continued to make decisions in matters of faith and practice in many other councils. The most important ones are the 7 ecumenical councils of the Church, when there was still a sense of one Church before the Great Schism in 1054 CE that split the Church into Eastern Church, the Orthodox churches, and a Western Church, the Roman Catholic Church. After the Council of Nicaea in 325 CE, there was the First Council of Constantinople in 381 CE, the First Council of Ephesus in 431 CE, the Council of Chalcedon in 451 CE, the Second Council of Constantinople in 553 CE, the Third Council of Constantinople in 681 CE, and the Second Council of Nicaea in 787 CE. In each of these councils, new issues of faith and practice were discussed and decided. And even after the period of the 7 ecumenical councils, the Orthodox churches and the Roman Catholic Church continued to meet in councils to make further decisions regarding faith and practice. While most of those debates were based on the interpretation of biblical scripture, all of these new decisions became part of tradition. And so, by the time of the Reformation in 1517 CE, the Roman Catholic Church had a whole body of tradition that was almost equal in weight and importance as to the New Testament itself. This became a point of contention during the Reformation. Martin Luther had grown quite uneasy with many of the practices and teachings of his time. He rejected the idea that tradition was as important as the New Testament, and so he was adamant about emphasizing that only the Holy Scripture of the Old and New Testament were relevant to the faith and practice, not the tradition of the Church. Tradition was only valuable as long as it was firmly based on Holy Scripture. Martin Luther's Reformation slogan was Sola Scriptura, Sola Fide, Solo Christo. That means Scripture alone, faith alone, Christ alone. This became the difference between the Catholic and Protestant use of Scripture. For the Roman Catholic Church, it is still, to this day, that faith and practice is based on Holy Scripture and the canon law, the tradition. Protestants, on the other hand, emphasize today that Holy Scripture, the Bible, is the only valid authority on matters of faith and practice. That difference has become a hurdle to overcome when the various branches of the Church engage in theological discussions. And even among Protestants, there are now differences with regard to how we read the Bible. And with this, we come full circle to the beginning of our course. When we first discussed how we read the Bible, do we read it literally? Or do we read it with its historical context in mind? After completing this course, you might have gained new insight into that question. You might have come to see how there is so much background to each of the biblical books that might shape or even change our understanding of what they mean. I hope you gained a deeper understanding of the Bible and a deeper sense of what Christianity is all about. I want to wish you all the best as you go from here. May the things you learned this semester accompany you in your own approach to Holy Scripture, as you encounter it in the future and throughout your life. It was a pleasure to journey with you through the New Testament. May you be blessed as we part ways. I wish you the best.